Eighth Amendment in the Constitution of Pakistan. The Eighth Amendment in the Constitution of Pakistan was passed in 1985 during the period of Ziaul Haq. Before handing over the powers to the National Assembly, or before the National Assembly was summoned, this amendment was passed through a presidential order on 2nd March 1985. This was a composite document in which almost 65 articles were touched. Either they were repealed, deleted, or substituted by some other words. So it is a composite document, and this amendment was done by Ziaul Haq and his military junta to strengthen their power before the National Assembly could start its session. You know that in February 1985, elections were held on non-party basis, and all parties were not allowed to nominate their candidates. Hence, all the members in the National Assembly were without any take-up party. So the question of the majority party and the minority party in the National Assembly was ruled out, since there was no political party, and the Prime Minister was to be chosen from the elected candidates who were elected on non-party based election. And out of those candidates, the majority group was to be given the government, and later on two groups were formed in the National Assembly, and a party was made within the assembly under the umbrella of military junta. But this amendment, which was also called the Revival of the Constitution of 1973, or RCO 1985, it was passed through a presidential order on 2nd March 1985. Later on, it was endorsed by the National Assembly as well, that we will discuss in another clip. Today, we are having a brief introduction of the 8th Amendment. So, let's see. As you know, there were almost 65 articles were touched. However, the theme or the central point of the Eighth Amendment was to convert the state from the parliamentary nature to a semi-presidential or a presidential system. The major amendment was done in Article number 48 and Article number 58. In article number 58, 2b was inserted. Article 58, 2b was inserted, and it was said that if the Prime Minister or any member of the National Assembly is likely to command the confidence of majority of the members of National Assembly in accordance with the provisions of Constitution as certain in a session of the National Assembly summoned for the purpose, a vote of no confidence having been passed against the Prime Minister. If the vote of no confidence has been passed in the National Assembly against the Prime Minister, and in such a case, if there is no any other member in the National Assembly who could command the confidence of the majority of the members of the National Assembly, then in that case the Assembly shall be dissolved. And if the second clause, subclause B, if a situation has arisen in which the government of the Federation cannot be carried on in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution, an appeal to the electorate is necessary. That is, if President found that at any moment the Prime Minister or the government of the Federation is not having command on the National Assembly, and they are not able to run the government, and if President feel that now it's important or now it's necessary to call the electorate for a fresh mandate, then the President will have the right to dissolve the National Assembly and dismiss the Prime Minister. So this was the major theme or the major objective of the 8th Amendment, that was to strengthen the powers of President so that he could be able to dissolve National Assembly and dismiss Prime Minister at any time. Thank you for joining. Take care. Goodbye.